Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into something I think we've all seen, maybe you've done ourselves a little bit, appearing like a leader when, well, you're not actually the one in charge.
Yeah, that's right. We're looking at this source, episode 97, How to Fake Leadership When You're Not in Charge, and
Yeah.
really trying to unpack it.
It's fascinating, this whole idea. And our mission today is what? To decode how people actually do this, the language they use, the strategies.
Exactly. It's about understanding how someone projects that leadership image, even without the official title or, the actual responsibility. And it raises some really interesting questions, doesn't it?
It really does. Like, why does saying, let's align on this,
Yeah.
suddenly sound so authoritative?
Mm-hmm. Or when someone says, I'll let you take point, how often does that secretly mean, good luck, you're doing the work?
Oh, totally. And don't get me started on per my last email. Is there a more politely coded way of saying, I already told you this, pay attention?
Huh. Probably not. But it's interesting how these phrases work, right? They often connect with what we think a leader sounds like, sort of taps into those expectations.
Yeah, expectations. So by the end of this, you, listening in, should get a handle on what our source calls leadership fluff. These different types. Visionary, decisive.
And fake busy. Yeah. We'll break those down. You'll start recognizing the vague, strategic sounding language people use.
And maybe, just maybe, see how it works. For observation purposes, of course.
Of course. We'll also touch on why the source kind of pokes fun at the term thought leadership.
Right. Which can sometimes feel a bit empty.
It's all rooted in that idea of fake it till you make it, isn't it? Or maybe, as the source jokes, fake it till everyone just assumes you've made it.
Okay, so let's dig in. The source gives us this fake leadership phrase book. Sounds useful.
It is. And the first type is visionary nonsense. You know, the kind sounds really big, really forward-thinking.
But when you actually look closely, there's not much there.
Exactly. Like, let's disrupt the paradigm.
Ah, yes. The paradigm disruption.
Which, let's be honest, usually just means let's change something. Anything, really. It sounds bold, sounds innovative.
Even if you haven't got a clue what paradigm or how you'll disrupt it, it's the sound of vision.
Precisely. It creates that impression. Or another one, we need to innovate our core competencies.
Ooh, sounds important. Strategic, even.
But the source kind of translates that to, we should probably work harder. It's using buzzwords to seem like you have big ideas, even if you don't.
Okay, so that's sounding visionary. What about making decisions? Or not making them?
Well, that brings us to the second type, decisive dodging. These are the phrases that make you sound in control, but you're cleverly avoiding, taking a
I
stand.
think I know where this is going.
The classic, let's take this offline.
Meaning,
Meaning, according to the source, let's just never talk about this again. It shuts down debate without actually saying no. It's a neat trick.
a conversational escape hatch. I've definitely seen that used.
Oh, yeah. And how about this one? I'll let the team decide. Sounds collaborative, right? Empowering.
It sounds like it. But
But it can just be a way to avoid making the call yourself. Dodging the responsibility if things go wrong. Hey, the team decided.
clever. So you look democratic, but you're actually avoiding the heat.
Pretty much. It's subtle.
Okay, visionary, decisive. What's the third type of fluff?
Fake busy leader. This is all about cultivating that image of being constantly swamped, super productive, indispensable.
Right, the people who always seem rushed off their feet.
Exactly. So you get phrases like, I'm heads down on strategy.
Sounds intense. Deep work happening.
Or, as the source cheekily suggests, it could just mean I'm scrolling through TikTok.
You project importance without giving any details.
It's the aura of busyness.
That's it. And another one, let me socialize this with stakeholders. Sounds diligent, doesn't it? Consulting people.
Very responsible, very leader-like. But it can also mean, I'll probably forget to ask anyone, but it buys me some time. It looks like you're doing due diligence, even if you're not.
It's amazing how much is about seeming rather than doing.
Isn't it just the perception that being busy equals being important?
The source even had that listener story,
Yeah.
right? Someone shouted, let's boil the ocean
Yeah.
in a meeting.
Yeah, which is, a phrase meaning let's try to do the impossible, waste no time. But the boss apparently heard it and thought, wow, leadership.
That's hilarious. It just shows how easily these grand-sounding but empty phrases can land.
It really does. Sounding confident, using the right kind of jargon, it can go a long way, even if the substance is, well,
a bit thin. Okay, so we know the types of phrases. How does the source suggest actually sounding like you're in charge? Any specific techniques?
oh yes. There are a few tactical gems in there. First up, The power pause.
The power pause. Tell me more.
It's that deliberate, dramatic silence after you say something. Like you make a statement, maybe about something trivial, like the coffee machine, and you say, what we're seeing here. Then you pause, like really pause, is an opportunity.
Ah, I see. The pause adds weight. Gravitas.
Exactly. It makes it seem like you're deeply considering things, even if you're just, pausing.
Yeah.
Gives the impression of thoughtfulness.
Okay, the pause.
Yeah.
Got it. What else?
Then there's the strategic we, using we in a way that subtly delegates.
How does that work?
Like saying, we should really own this. It sounds collective, like teamwork.
But it really means.
It often implies someone else should own it. Like you reading between the lines, this is your job now. It's delegation disguised as collaboration.
Sneaky. I like it. Okay, what's next?
The fake framework. This one's good. You announce you're going to structure the discussion.
Okay, sounds organized.
You say something like, right, let me break this down into 3 key pillars.
Mhm.
And then you just list 3 really obvious things.
So things everyone already knows, but you put them in pillars.
Exactly. The act of creating the framework makes it sound strategic and well thought out, even if the content is basic. It's like putting a fancy label on a plain box.
Just drew over substance.
You got it. And one more pro tip from the source.
Lay it on me.
Nodding slowly while saying, interesting. Apparently this is gold.
Just nodding and saying interesting.
Yep. It makes people think you're processing information deeply, having profound thoughts, even if your mind is elsewhere entirely.
Wow. It really is a performance, isn't it?
So much of it seems to be. It's about playing the part people expect.
The source also had some funny bits about different cultural styles, right?
Yeah.
Some humorous stereotypes.
Yeah, a few quick ones. For Americans, it was, let's double click on this, meaning let's spend more time on this, possibly unnecessarily. That desire to drill down.
Okay. And the British,
The British tendency towards understatement. Quite an interesting challenge.
which really means,
Oh, no, dear, this is a complete disaster.
right, that polite deflection.
And Australians.
The classic, yeah, nah, she'll be right.
Translation.
We are absolutely comprehensively doomed. That laid-back attitude masking potential chaos.
It's funny how communication styles differ. Obviously stereotypes, but they hint at different ways of projecting or maybe hiding concern.
Definitely. And speaking of language, there was the listener hack, too.
Ah, yes, the hack. What was it?
Buzzword bingo. Basically, keep a list of all those corporate buzzwords.
Synergy, leverage.
Bandwidth,
Yeah.
scalable, agile, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And the hack is just to, sprinkle them into your conversations. Randomly. For effect.
Does it work?
Apparently. One listener claimed works every time. It just shows how susceptible we could be to that kind of jargon. Sounds impressive.
So even if it doesn't mean much in context.
Oh.
Okay, this leads perfectly into the final challenge, doesn't it? The fake leader boot camp.
It does. And
Yeah.
a little mission for you, the listener, if you're feeling brief this week.
Okay, task number 1.
Try to spot someone using the term thought leadership completely unironically. Ooh, that might be harder than it sounds. Or easier, depending on your workplace. Okay, task 2.
Use the phrase, let's align on this, 3 times in one meeting.
3 times. Okay, bonus points for keeping a straight face. And third task.
When someone asks for your input, confidently ask, what does the data say?
Even if.
Even if there is absolutely no data, none whatsoever, just ask the question.
Brilliant. The source even gave an example of someone nailing this, right?
Yeah.
About office snacks.
Yeah. Someone apparently said, we need to future-proof our deliverables when talking about the biscuit selection.
No.
Yes. And got a standing ovation, tagged as #leadership material.
That's incredible. And terrifying. Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've dived into how people fake leadership, the language, the tactics,
Looked at visionary nonsense, decisive dodging, fake busyness.
the power pause, the strategic we, buzzword bingo, even a bit of cultural observation.
Yeah.
You should now be pretty well versed in recognizing this stuff.
And maybe, just maybe, understanding the mechanics behind it a little better.
Which leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Something for you to chew on.
Indeed. It's really about that line, isn't it? The line between, say, effective strategic communication and just being inauthentic, faking it.
Yeah. How much of what we see as leadership out there is real substance and how much is just a really convincing performance?
Something to definitely think about next time you hear someone wanting to double-click on synergizing deliverables.